Now, let's get some close-ups of the Gantt chart. I have to share my screen. This takes a little fucking around. Be patient. For a close-up of the top left corner of the Gantt chart. Task 1. First page 1 of 12 of the Gantt chart. Task number 1 is mental health. You've got to get your shit together first. Self-esteem. You got to like yourself or nobody else will like you. He shows that bar beginning in the middle of June of this year, going for 2 years. 520 days. Living consciously, he says it'll take you 60 days to learn that trick. Underneath living consciously, know what you know and see what you see. Hearing what is said between the lines, those are the 2 subtasks. He recommends 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem books, and I don't recommend the books. I recommend the 2 CDs. I don't know how they sell it now, but there's a long version, which is Brandon just reading the book to you, which is absolutely useless. And the 2 CD version is someone rewrote the book and took out all the big words and made it intelligible for everybody. You can read the book if you want. I found it absolutely unbelievably stupid and complicated, unnecessarily so. So 6 Pillars between self-esteem. Listen to the 2 CDs all the time until you get yourself, until you understand it. And then the second book he recommends is Games People Play and Body Language Secrets. 3 books for this whole exercise here. Games People Play is about how people avoid intimacy by talking about things that aren't important. Like men at a gathering will talk about cars. The women will gather and talk about women's operations. What they're doing is avoiding emotion and avoiding any controversy. They're talking about safe subjects. And they're saying a lot of things between the lines. If you will speed read that book, it's not worth spending too much time on. It's it just introduces you to the idea that people are avoiding intimacy. Intimacy, not sexual intimacy, but intimacy of knowing each other and being open to other people. And self-acceptance begins at 135 days after 6 Pillars and Games People Play and Body Language Secrets. It's a lot in Body Language Secrets that doesn't have anything to do with body language. You'll find out when you get the book. He says that'll take you from, looks like the end of July, the first year, until the middle of January of the next year to accept yourself. Learning from fuck-ups. This is the biggest, most important task you're going to learn about life when you deal with Don Steele. The books he recommends are How to Date Young Women, 1 and 2, and Body Language Secrets. I can just take a moment here and tell you there's no other way to learn other than learning from your mistakes. You can't learn by reading my book. You can't learn by watching videos. You can't learn by going to a pickup artist workshop. You can only learn by understanding what you're trying to do and then going out there and fucking up. And then saying to yourself, what did I do wrong? How did she perceive that? Why didn't that work? And think about it. That's how you learn from mistakes. That's how I learned everything. Everything. Where the hell's my book? Here it is. This is the new version of Date Young Women. It's twice as thick, has the same cover, but has a different back because it's printed by Amazon, not by a printer and Don Steele being the publisher. Amazon is the publisher. They own all rights to this except I own the copyright. They can't sell it unless I say so. But I can't sell it unless they print it. And they won't print it unless I pay them and they sell the book to somebody. So the book is quite a bit different than the original. The first one won't hurt you to read it. But the second one, the first 21 pages are what doesn't work. And what that is people, men, let me stop sharing the screen and talk to you. What that is me doing workshops, me doing my radio show, me running a restricted list. That means people who subscribe to the restricted list can get on there and interact with me every day. It's now moved to Facebook, but it's the same thing. You can't get in the group unless I authorize it. And you have to have read this book to even get in. Ideally, you've read this book also, both Body Language Secrets and How to Date Young Women. The next thing you'll be learning on down the Gantt chart here is how to dress. But you can get all those books now and start reading them. It won't hurt anything. But if you want to plan and attack your problem in an organized, systematic way, and it seems to be the only way that works, is do what Vince did on the Gantt chart. Get your shit together in your head first, then get your physical body together, then learn how to relate to women. You're useless to women until you look good, feel good, and you like yourself. You can try. You might get a date with a 1 or a 2, and I advocate that. Go out with anybody who'll go out with you. Go to bed with anybody who'll go to bed with you. Get back in the groove of fucking, okay? The rest of this is really important, but let me go back to the chart and, oh, I'm sorry. Let me stick on the book here. First 21 pages are things that don't work. And how do I know the things that don't work? From all the workshops, all the emails, and all the phone calls to the radio show, I find out what doesn't work. And what doesn't work is trying to date and mate young women before you're dating and mating older women. That's the #1 mistake most guys make. They just refuse to say, I'm 40 years old and I'm not going to go out with a 40-year-old woman. Or I'm 28 and I am absolutely not going to go out with a 35-year-old. I deserve a young, beautiful woman. No, you don't. You have to earn it. You have to be what she wants. And that's what you're going to learn right here on the Gantt chart. What you're going to learn is to be what women want. And this is going to be step by step. Let's go back and take a look at up close again. Learning from fuck-ups. Lowering and broadening your standards. This is a big fucking deal. If you insist on Playboy bunny type girls, you're not going to get anywhere. Period. You have to lower your standards and broaden your standards. What that means is basically being willing to date women that aren't up to your standards, whatever the fuck you think you're worthy of. Okay? You're only worthy of what women think you're worthy of. It doesn't make any difference what you think. I've had Richard Klein is the man, you'll read about him when you get into the TFA, the fucking archives. Let me see where he calls that out. Clear down here in task 21. TFA, that means the fucking archive. What the fucking archive is 20,000 posts edited down from about 120,000 posts over the years by Vince, Miles, Russ from Albuquerque, myself, and I think Eric might have been involved. Each of us took a chunk of the posts that we got over all those first 10 years, and we deleted all the things that were trivial, like what kind of car and shit like that, and guys asking the same question been answered 100,000 times, and got rid of all that and cut it down to the 20,000 most important emails that had been posted. You know, that's the fucking archives. And there are subgroups of that, the best of Miles, the best of Vince, the best of Mary Thomas. You'll find out when you get into the Facebook. We have communal Dropbox now. When we had Yahoo groups, we could keep everything right with the group, and now you have to go to a communal Dropbox and look for these important items. TFA is in there too, I think. I was talking about the things that don't work. So get this book first. Get this book first and read the first 21 pages, and you will avoid a lot of trouble. You'll just save yourself a lot of time. The most common mistakes made by men since we got out of the cave. Approaching a woman who has not shown interest in you. Having less than 3 pearls. A pearl is someone you're courting but not yet dating. A girl at the coffee shop, a girl down in accounting at your office, and a girl you met at a party. And you're going to have lunch with her. Those are pearls. If you're not fucking them, they're pearls. You're not dating and mating with anyone. You're not going to go anywhere. There's a chapter in this book called Women First. Start with women. Answering your phone instead of letting voicemail pick it up. Calling or texting back too soon, too late, or too often. This is all covered. Talking on the phone too long or texting too much. Using email, and also I call it eunuch mail. You have no balls if you use email. Unwise first dates like movies or dinner. See the chapter Date Her. You have hair that's out of date, too trendy, or the wrong hairstyle for you. Wrong hairstyle is having long hair when you only have 3 hairs left. You have no small talk skills. Engineers in particular hate learning this. For some reason they think the woman should be able to see what he's all about just by looking at him. He doesn't want to engage in small talk like, did you see the Raider game? I really enjoyed it. Oh, you're a football fan too? Who's your team? Blah, 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 blah. Do you know Debbie? She used to go out with Fred over there. They had quite an affair, yes, Small talk. You got to be able to do that to get to the next thing. You have no phone skills, especially after the first date. Oh man, that's a killer. And it's the longest book in, I have 11 separate books, each major topic: find, meet, talk, date, call, relationship, etc., 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 dressing for success. I have all 11 topics in one book called Dream Girl, the Dream Girl series. That's what I called it. 11 books, the longest one being Call Her, the second longest one being The Right Attitude. So that's for guys who have no experience at all. Start with that book. It's $39, but it's about 800 pages long with color pictures. It's only in Kindle because it costs too much to print it in color. Living Purposefully. That takes you 90 days. That's Nathaniel Branden, 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. Learning how to stay in the present. It says focusing on the present, not repeating the same mistakes. Those are 2 subcategories under Living Purposefully. Self-responsibility, that takes 280 days from the beginning of, starts that in the middle of October and it goes to June of the 2nd year. The way out is through. Accepting and understanding that concept is a big deal. You can't go around your problems, you can't go over your problems, you can't go under your problems. You have to go right through your problems and solve them to get on down the road with women. If you have a problem that hasn't been solved, you're just going to radiate, I'm a mess. What are some of the problems the guys have trouble with? Being shy, dressing like a dork, not having small talk skills, having a bad handshake, having all the things that women don't like wrong with you. You got to fix it all. Self-responsibility. The way out is through learning to not feel guilty when you fuck up. That was caused by your stupid parents and your coaches and other men in your past who give you shit about fucking up. Fucking up is the only way you can learn. Period. There's no other way to learn. You can't read my book. You can't go to a pickup artist workshop and learn. You have to go out there and fuck up. And then you have to think about it. What did I do wrong? How did she take that? What should I do next time? We have a technique on the list. If you're a member of the list, the restricted list, you write a short email about what you did, what happened, and what you wish you would have done instead. What I did, what happened, and what I wish I would have done instead of what I did. That's how you learn. When you write down or verbalize and write down, even better, verbalize and write down what you did wrong and what you're going to do next time, you won't make the same mistake over and over again. Not feeling guilty for fuck-ups. And the last one under self-responsibility, stop carrying a torch for anybody in your past. It's over, it's done, it's whiskey under the bridge. Get on with your life. Assertiveness is the #1 skill. Watch the video on YouTube, on my YouTube, on assertiveness, the necessary skill, or some title like that. Not feeling guilty when you say no. Learning to be brief. Brevity is authority. Dealing with people criticizing you, especially women, how to deal with it. You'll learn all that from the book. It's called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. Personal integrity. You learn how to be a kind person without being a weak person. When you have different goals now than you did 2 years ago, it doesn't mean one of the goals is right and one's wrong. It means it's different, that's all. Let's go to page 2.